Hello there. Welcome to this week's episode of Aha Moments with Don Oni. I've worked with university students for more than a decade now, and there's something I've noticed about them. Sometimes some of the unserious students tend to copy some things in papers, hide them somewhere in their bodies, and get into examination hall with such things. If they have the opportunity to, which they rarely do in my university, they get to use those things. Maybe just once the invigilator sleeps for 1 second, they could bring them out and try to copy from them. Even when they actually do not use those things, I am usually prompted somehow to just go search around, and sometimes I see those things with them. And when you ask them, what's this? The first thing they'll say, I swear, I didn't use it. I swear. Actually, sometimes they don't use those things, but the fact that you came into the exam hall with it is incriminating and is considered exam malpractice. The reason is simple. You came in because you feel you could have the opportunity. You came with it because you think you feel you could have the opportunity to use it. And if you have the opportunity, you will use it. So on Aha Moments this week, we're just going to be looking at what I tag, if you have it, you will use it. If you have that drug that you are trying to stop taking with you or around you, or you keep friends but still take them, or you still go around where you buy them, you will likely fall into that addiction again. If you have that porn movie in your gadget and say, no, I'm just keeping it, I don't want to look at it again, you will go back to it again and again to see it. If you have that unhealthy food you're not supposed to take with you, maybe in your fridge or in your kitchen, there's a likelihood that you fall into the temptation of using it. If you have that contact, the phone contact of maybe that abusive person or that abusive ex of yours, or whoever is not adding value to your life, there's a likelihood that you will go back to that person and maybe you'll be hurt again. If you have, places where people keep guns, sometimes they just tell you, no, I'm just keeping it. Well, I'm not talking about keeping it for defense, but maybe just having it for a time that perhaps it will be needed, even when it's not necessarily against an aggressor. So if you have it, there's a likelihood that you use it. If you have that food you don't want to eat again, there's a likely, especially if you like it, there's a likelihood that you eat it again. But sometimes I really ponder why the same is not always the case with the right things. For instance, there are people who have very good books that they have never opened all their life. Maybe they bought these books themselves, or it was a gift to them, but they don't read. And these are good books. There are people who have scriptures, but they only listen, hear it read on Sundays in church. They don't open their Bible, but they have the Bible, in fact, right there beside their bed. There are people who have fitness, equipment at home, yet they don't exercise, they don't use them. So I just keep wondering, why is it that it's easier to fall back to the wrong things, the vices that you don't want to do, you don't want anymore, than to take advantage of the good things around you and use them to, your own advantage. However, a wise man once said that wisdom means doing the right things because you know that they are right. Knowing the right things and doing them, yes, that's the definition. So I'll suggest that if you know that you want to get rid of some things, don't even bother having them around you. Get rid of them in every sense of the word so that you won't fall back to them. Then if you have the good things around you, why not be intentional and disciplined enough to use or to apply those appropriate, those right things, and you will be happy you did. So what do you think, my dear viewers and listeners? What do you think about having it and using it? However, when it comes to the right things, you could have them and maybe not use them. That is not to say I'm discouraging anyone from having the right things around. Please have them around. There's also a likelihood that someday you begin to use them. So surround yourself with the right things and get rid of the wrong things around you so that you won't even fall into that temptation of using them. So thank you for doing me the courtesy of listening again. I want you to subscribe to my channel, comment, like, share, comment. I want to know what you think about if you have it, you will use it. Bye for now. I love you all.